and my personal thoughts on. And today I'm also joined by Dead Lady Red. She's Ashley, and my name is Matthew. Is my real name, and we're going to discuss on weapon sunsetting. So, what are your thoughts on it? Yeah.
I understand why, because if you have too much in the game, it can create issues. Aside from, of course, Telesto wanting to completely rule and on the world every once in a while. And also it gets rid of certain metas. I guess not get rid of, but change them, because there's always going to be a meta. So I understand why, and if they do want to incorporate new weapons into the game and have people mess around with them, especially with them entering a new chapter with Beyond Light coming soon, I am fine with sunsetting. However, since they have extended the deadline, I think they should also extend when sunsetting's gonna happen. When the new one comes out, have it sunset on the new release date, not the old one. So that way it's still in line with what they were talking about before, and it stays within the current chapter of the game.
Well, some people are they're like for example they're worried that the weapons that we've been getting for like ritual weapons won't, like, for example, mountaintop's a really popular one.
Pinnacle.
Yeah, for pinnacles. They're
I
worried that there'll
think
be like that Bungie's just gonna make ritual weapons and they're not gonna make pinnacles, or the pinnacles are just gonna suck, or they're just gonna bring back pinnacle weapons and they're gonna be a problem all over again in both Crucible and PvE.
I
Just
really hope that's not the case. I personally think that with pinnacles that you've gotten in the past shouldn't have been part of the sunset. Because you worked for those, you did certain things for those. Those weren't just random rolls you got that you grinded for, which also really sucks. But pinnacles are,
Make us proud. Solve
you
the
know,
problems of the
they're meant to
world.
be difficult to get, to be time consuming. And sunsetting those is like getting rid of a portion of that time.
yeah, I have a bunch of weapons in my vault here. My fears on weapon sunsetting, just me personally, I think that it's great and all, but I have weapons in here that took ages, and there's also armor. Armor, it takes so much to infuse. It is so expensive to infuse it and create all these builds, and like some of the armor is from Shadowkeep. A lot of people, if you're using the raid armor, that's one thing, but I see a lot of people not using that, and
I don't use
people's.
it. I have masterwork stuff that I found. Like I have a chest that I got. I can't remember where I got it from. It's at 102 right now. I haven't seen anything else in the hundreds before. And I think that was from Shadowkeep. It might be a Dreambane. And I'm a little sad that it's going away because of what I put in to find 102 chest piece. Because I'm gonna have to find something that's to my liking, that's also higher if I want it to be like that.
So you said it's after all the mods, and it's 102.
Yes.
So that means it dropped at like what, high 60s.
High 60s, lower 70s.
So
I hadn't seen one drop like that, where it was already near 70 without any mods.
people's other fear is that Bungie just not only can't keep up with the weapons and making new, like for example, a lot of people love Hammerhead, and how do you think, how do you personally think that what they could do to make getting materials to masterwork armor easier, but still rare, and it's still a challenge. I don't know if
I I say
Yeah.
increase the drop rate for Nightfalls for cores, or at least the quantity that you get. Or say the higher the score is, the more cores you get. If you do 100k, you get like around 5 or so guaranteed. Or if you get 150, you get 6 or so, or 7, because Bungie is obsessed with 7s.
So you're saying they should bring back tier rewards?
Kinda, but with materials. Because if you have to work to get the stuff, I understand that because it's a pride. Like, oh, I worked hard for this, especially when you work hard, not when you buy it. I understand if you don't have time, but if you're just lazy, that's a completely different story. But if you work hard for it and you want to show it off, like working for the glow for Trials armor, everybody is so excited to get that glow, and because everybody knows, hey, I did this. You can see what I did. You know I went flawless. I have my armor, my weapons glowing. I gotta burp stuff in my throat. There it goes. But I get that. So if you want to give people something that's worth working towards for that, it's worth it to people because they get to show it off, or they get to masterwork their specific roles, and they're like, oh, I got this god roll. You really need to try this out. This is amazing. It's a sense of pride, you know? When you first get that specific exotic, right now with Moments of Triumph, everybody's doing more raids. Oh look, I just got the anarchy! Or with the chests that you get from Last Wish, or it's suspense. And when you finally get 1k, they're like, yeah, I did it! Everybody's excited, people are almost yelling and screaming. Because they're excited, they're happy, it was so difficult to get, and now they finally have it. But if you make something like that, but not as difficult, but still challenging for materials to get other stuff as well, I think that would be a fair balance. Because then, yes, you have to upgrade your stuff again. However, it's easier than it was. Because you've seen my vault, you know how many things I have masterworked. Which is an extreme amount of stuff that I have masterworked.
So yeah, I think that those are good ideas. I also think they need to. I like the tier rewards. I miss D1, and where like there was heroic rewards from like heroic strikes. And then, you know, like there's the Seaver heroic, and then there's normal strikes. Normal strikes should be just normal. Seaver heroic strikes, or let's say in this case, Destiny 2. Like heroic strikes should have special modifiers and different tier rewards, and people are still wanting you know, armor and all that, but that's the problem with sunsetting. Sunsetting, it changes everything. So I think they should also make rewards available based off of tiers, but at the same time, for let's say Grandmasters, they made it so now it's a guarantee. If you complete a Grandmaster, you get an Ascendant Shard. But not everybody can sit there and just grind out a Grandmaster. They just can't.
No, because they're
it's
difficult, the time, they're
so
not prepared for it. Yeah, make stuff guaranteed and higher drops. Well, like, the higher you get for Nightfalls, not
the
just
percentage.
scores. Yeah, not just scores, but like what you said, Grandmasters and all of that stuff. Make it to where the rewards are guaranteed, not just a chance at it, you know? Make it a chance for more rewards. Let's say maybe 2 Ascendant Shards, depending on difficulty. And score. Like, the higher score you get on a better difficulty, the more chance you have of getting an Ascendant Shard. Or 2 of them. Because I think 3 Ascendant Shards might be a bit much.
I think it should be guaranteed for Master and Grandmaster. Well, actually, I think you should get 2 Ascendant Shards for Grandmaster, right? And I think... okay, so no. I think, because what they have it right now is if you get Platinum on Grandmaster, you have a chance for 2 shard. You have a guaranteed chance for 1 shard if you complete it, but you have a higher chance for another shard, Ascended Shard, the golf balls, to drop if you hit Platinum. I think it should be guaranteed. So that's almost 2 shards if you get Platinum, defeating all the champions and everything. So, if I remember correctly, so I think do you think Master could be guaranteed for a shard as well, or just a really high chance?
You can, maybe Prisms for that one, and the chance at a shard, but Prisms are guaranteed. The higher you go in difficulty, the higher chance you should get of getting things. And the higher score you get, the better it should be. Like, if you got over 100k on the highest difficulty, you should get an Ascendant Shard or 2 right there. Automatically. The match made stuff, just make it cores. Make it like 3, 4 cores. You know?
Yeah.
And then the one right above that, make it more cores, and then just keep going down the line as harder it gets.
I see what you mean by that.
Because I can see the first match made, which is what, 750?
I donated a tenth of my salary to Dead Orbit.
Right.
It's 7. Yeah, it's 750. I can see.
Make that like 2, because 2 is not a lot in terms of cores. It's really not. So make that one like 2 automatically, because then you can just grind that over and over and over and over again, but you're still only doing it in 2s. And those can take some time depending on the blueberries you have, all those factors.
Good points.
Yeah, 750. Grandmaster should be 2, because I think 2 is good for that, because there's a lot going on. It's difficult, especially if the Nightfall's really crazy. Like, next week is the one with Sabia, the witch.
Yeah.
I know that one's difficult. So, Grandmaster getting 2 shards is good. You get 1 shard at Master. Legend, you should get, like, a couple of prisms automatically. Hero, you should get, like, I'd say 4 to 5 cores with chances of prisms. And then Adept, you just get cores. And then Master, you get prisms and chance at an Ascendant Shard. Like, high amount of prisms, though. Or higher amount of prisms, no chance at an Ascendant Shard. And then Grandmaster, you automatically get an Ascendant Shard. Because then you'd want to do Grandmaster more than Master, because you automatically get 2, and Master you get a chance at 1, but you get prisms.
What about other activities? Do you think they should offer it for there?
Yes, it's similar with Nightfalls with Nightmare Hunts, but tone it down, you know, because the Nightfall's like the big thing. So tone that one down more. Maybe more chance of prisms, but of course the higher difficulty you go, the better chance of rewards that you get. Because if you're talking about materials, then people are going to want to grind that more if they're low, to upgrade their new armor that they're getting and their new weapons. So I think it would balance that out. because it's easier to upgrade, but you have to do that. And you're like, oh, let's get a team together to do Grandmaster because I need I need prisms, not prisms, but I need shards, and you guys can automatically get shards too for when you need them.
See
And
what
that
you
would
mean?
be, yeah, because then people are like, okay, let's do this. Uh, Raids, I think, should give a chance at a shard, um, and stuff like that. I get with weapons and stuff as well, but put a chance of good end game materials in there too that we need for upgrading, because it gives people more incentive. Like, yeah, I can get stuff to upgrade my raid armor while I'm doing the raid for the encounters, even
So,
if it's not guaranteed. It's a chance, you know.
yeah, because when it does drop, it's a nice, pleasant surprise.
And you're working for it. It's not just a handout. Because I wouldn't do it for regular strikes. Maybe like one core can pop up here or there at the end, um, randomly. Like there's a very small chance for regular strikes, but those are just strikes.
Mm-hmm.
But raids can be difficult, especially if you're learning them for the first time. And dungeons too, I think, should give a little bit of material as well. Because they're time consuming, they can be difficult. Yes, you get gear, but you don't always need the gear, but you will always need materials. So I think it would balance it out and make them even more enticing. Because it's like, okay, I have a chance of getting gear, or like what you do, you help a lot of people. So you get your weekly and that's it. You might get a better roll, but it's not going to help your light. But if
No.
you're getting materials to upgrade your stuff that you already have, or a chance at those materials, you're going to want to do it even more, because you get something out of it too. Not that you need to get something out of it, but it's just more
Yes.
enticing.
Yeah.
Received.
Those are good points. I think my last thing I have to add to sunsetting. Sunsetting is only going to work if they make the weapons not just carbon copies of Mountaintop.
Reskins,
Yeah,
and
and reskins and
essentially
stuff
the
like that.
exact same thing with a different name.
Yeah. Reskins
Yeah.
need to go away. That needs to stop. You want people to play the game, but at the same time, you keep reskinning armor and stuff like that. I don't want the same, like Cold Denial. It's not a reskinned high impact pulse. Like Redrick Broadsword is a reskin of Redrick Claymore. There's also a blue a blue gun that looks exactly like it. It's just a reskin. There's no creativity. There's no different looks. There's no
Like
different handling because
the new bow, for instance, the new bow and the new swords.
yep,
They're different. Sure, they're a little weird,
but
but
they
they're
function
different
differently.
and they're cool.
Yeah, and Cold Denial is a high impact pulse, but it is the least field. It doesn't feel like a high impact pulse. It handles super well. It's smooth. It's light. It's not clunky. So they really need to. I think if in order for sunsetting to work, they have to start getting more creative with weapons and weapon rolls. I've seen the same weapon rolls each season for ages now. There should be new weapon perks that comes on the seasonal, not just weapons, but new perks for the raids. Or like for the new raid, there should be exclusive perks on guns that you can get that are useful
Like mods.
inside. No, not even. I mean,
No, I'm saying
it could be.
on mods, but like weapons with
Yeah,
rolls.
so for what they're doing for trials, and it's going to be done in Beyond Light. There's for adept weapons. You know how there's your normal slot for mods, where you can put your boss spec. Then there's your masterwork. Then there's the infuse.
Hmm.
They're going to add a fourth square, and that's going to be adept mod. for raid weapons, there could be a perk that's like, I don't know, in the new raid it's more than likely going to be fallen based, right? We know that.
Aside from
It's
Bog
gonna,
returning.
yeah, and then there's Bog coming back. But for the new raid, for the Deep Stone Crypt, we know that there's gonna be fallen. So let's say under a certain buff, you deal more damage against adds for X amount of times, or something like that. And on top of that, just new perks in general, new traits for the weapons, because there's traits, there's magazine, and there's barrel. There should add maybe a 5th slot. So let's say frame type. So it's a high impact frame, but maybe a customization to the frame to give it maybe slightly more handling, a 5th slot. I think they should get more creativity. If they're going to go and start building a more MMO game, there needs to be more unique perks as far as MMO goes, especially for Crucible. Crucible, they need to get a handle on trials, just period, the cheating and all of that. But for Crucible, there has not been new perks on guns. It is just this, all that separates. So
Aside from practicing for trials and tentacles, there's not really a
Goodbye.
so
reason to do.
alright, so take this for example. I have a Uriel's Gift, right? And I have another 450 frame, right? Or another 450 frame. I don't know. Let's go to collections. This is an example, and I hate this. So we have, that's the wrong one. In collections for weapons, for autos, where is it at? Auto rifles. Alright, we have the Doubt, a 600 auto rifle, right? Then we have another auto, that's 600, where is it? The Forward Path, okay? They're both adaptive. One comes with, and it's these are just set rolls, right? One comes with a tap the trigger, and this is in collections, so you can pull these out. And one comes with snapshot. There is nothing that sets these two weapons apart. Nothing.
Aside from name.
Aside from name, and maybe different stats. But it's a copy paste method for guns that needs to go away. The Forward Path, which is a 600 auto rifle, and the Doubt, each gun could be a 600, but they need to function differently. Not just, I don't know what kind of fix that would take, but I'm tired of, okay, so I've got a kill clip on this energy hand cannon, but I've also got the same exact frame type for kill clip on a kinetic. Why would I use a hand cannon in Crucible when I could slap an auto rifle and then a shot? Stuff like that. I'm tired of just the same boring perks. Everyone goes for kill clip. There's no one that goes for anything else. Like the new Iron Gaze and Iron Grip. Those were fantastic. I love those perks. I actually prefer my, I'm trying to get used to using my two auto rifles, which both have Iron Gaze and Iron Grip. The Forward Path for Iron Banner, I love that. I love that idea. New perks. So, if I have another adaptive frame, it's going to feel so much different compared to this. Let's say I have an adaptive frame with kill clip, and just the mod itself changes the function, just like the perk itself changes the function of the gun, because my summoner with dynamic sway and rangefinder feels completely different than my Forward Path does, and it's all because of this perk, Iron Grip and Iron Gaze. They're not the same. They handle differently. I don't know what can be done for that. I don't know very much on that, but I think that I'm tired of the blandness. If they're wanting to go an MMO route, then they need to look at games where they set up different buffs and debuffs and stuff like that. It's like Anthem was trying to do. What?
Take inspiration.
Yes, because like Cold Denial. If I compare this to Redrick Broadsword, Cold Denial, it is a high impact frame pulse. Redrick's Broadsword is a high impact pulse. but they function completely different. That is a perfect example, right
Like, I
there.
understand reskins from a aesthetic point of view, I guess, where some of them look similar, because you can't have, with how many
Yes.
weapons you have in the game, every single one of them look different. Because of
Borderlands
how,
does it.
yeah, I know that they do. It's also different, I think they're different engines and stuff as well. And different teams for sure, different people in charge. Because that plays in part of it too. I would love every single one to look different. That would be amazing.
Because
But
Jacob's sniper and another type of sniper, they're both snipers. They could be um, the same exact like fire rate, but they function completely different. They're radically different. One's an iron sight and one's not, and it just like they're creative. I understand there's only so much that you could do with your engine, but that means that you need to up your engine. Either start
yeah,
working on it or start
this
porting.
is the same Halo engine.
And on top of that, it's just so yeah, that's another topic indeed. So
Them to look different, but with how things are at the moment, I understand why they wouldn't be. Especially with everything else going on with, as I'm going to quote Game Grumps, the Backstreet Boys for going on in the world right now.
yeah. So I think we've added enough. If any of you have any further comments or questions, or even your own thoughts on weapon sunsetting, please leave it in the comments below. Don't forget to
Any
like, hit.
ideas on what could be done? Your own thoughts? Something that we didn't mention? Anything to add to our ideas? What could be wrong with our ideas? Especially if you know what you're doing with video games as far as coding all of that stuff, definitely let us know, because that would be really cool to know, actually. And interesting to see how it works from actually inside of that industry. And how easy and or difficult that it can be to accomplish.
That's a good point. Don't forget to hit that like button if you like the video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you like the content. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you get notifications on when I go stream. I stream anywhere in the morning. It can be sporadic. I may take a break for a few days, like I have for the past week, like 4 days. I've taken a break this entire week because I needed a break so I didn't get burnout. So we're going to start back on the videos, so I appreciate all your support for the channel, and you guys have a wonderful day, and God bless. And that's all, folks.